Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Bradshaw and I'm here with Nick Thompson, co-founder and president of VEA Office Professionals. Nick, how you doing?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Glad you could join us. So Nick, can you just start out, maybe just give us a bit of background as to what you guys do and kind of the current situation for VEA?
Sure. So VEA is a virtual executive assistant and bookkeeping company. So we provide fractional EAs, bookkeepers, and CFOs to companies to help them with those particular tasks so they can scale up or down their payroll. It's to be noted that I'm also a business coach with the organization called Results. So I do work with a lot of other companies that are dealing with this right now. So I'll talk from sort of both sides, if you will.
Perfect.
Yeah, our VEA, a lot of people have said, hey, you guys, you're already a virtual company. You're doing fine, I'm sure. This must be a great time for you. And I'm like, no. It's the same with us. I mean, a lot of companies that we help that are trying to scale are having to lay people off, and obviously they're going to work on all their contracts before they have to lay off people. So we are definitely feeling the effects. We're down probably about a third in revenue, which takes up all of our profitability, right? So we're in the same boat. As a coach with Results, obviously I'm helping a lot of companies that are suffering through that. So I'm able to get information to help them on that side. And then I take that information and bring it over to VEA and say, okay, here's some good things that some other companies are doing to sort of get through this period of time.
And now on the consulting side of things, that must be impacted because, I mean, you typically do a lot of travel, right?
Yeah, totally. And so now, some of the companies that are having to downscale for the time being have said we need to put all of that on hold, all of our contracts on hold. So, that's obviously being reduced. And the ones that are carrying forward, it's all virtual now. And typically I travel and do face-to-face. So again, lucky that I understand the virtual world, but also it's difficult because a lot of companies are putting all these projects and extra resources on hold for the time being because we don't know how long that's going to last.
Like everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
So where do you see things for your businesses in the next 30 to 60 days?
Right. So what I continue to hear is sort of two camps of thought here. One camp are like, oh, we heard the president's address yesterday and we're out of this in the next few weeks and everything will be great. And the other camp is saying, oh, hold on a minute. This is going to be 2021 before we actually see a recovery. So what camp am I in? I don't know. Right? Like, I don't know. So, all we can do is the best advice I can and sort of, partake is plan for the worst and hope for the best. And so, we should be we are planning for what if this is 2021 before things stabilize. There isn't going to be a normal. We view this as kind of a 9/11 event, that nothing is going to be the same. There's going to be a lot of changes after, and things are, business is going to be done differently.
Absolutely.
So we need to plan out long-term for if this does a year before it's normalized, not back to the same. So we plan for that. And of course we hope in the next couple of months, it will normalize quicker, but we don't know. Like, we've never been through this before. So it's a bit of a scary time because normally you have a time limit on something and you're like, okay, we've been given this deadline and that's how we do our business. It's all based on deadlines. Well, we don't have a deadline for this. So we just need to plan out the worst case scenarios.
So Nick, I've known you for years. I mean, and you're always an optimistic guy. And I mean, so what advice would you have for other business owners? I mean, because we're all uncertain. None of us know where this is going to go. We can predict all we want, but we really have no idea. But what's some advice you'd have for other business owners, business leaders?
Thanks. And I appreciate your confidence in asking me that. One of the best pieces of information that I've seen so far is it was brought to my attention actually through the results coaching about the Stockdale Paradox. So Jim Collins, who wrote the famous book Good to Great,
Yeah.
he coined the term Stockdale Paradox. And so we looked at that and said, wow, this is 100% relative to what we're dealing with right now. And it was Commander Stockdale from the US, I believe it was Navy, back in the Vietnam War. He was captured and he was a prisoner of war for 7 years in North Vietnam. And when he came out, people were obviously asking him, what was his mindset? How did he get through it? Related to other people that couldn't get through it and died there. And they said, so what is the main element of the people that didn't make it through? And he said, optimism. And it was a shock, right? And I'm a very optimistic guy. So you've got my attention. I'm like, optimism didn't make it through? And he said, yeah. So what his take was, the optimists said, it'll be okay. This will all be over by Christmas.
Right.
And then Christmas came and went. And they said, it'll be okay. This will all be over by Easter. And then Easter came and went. And this went on and on. And he said, the optimist died of a broken heart.
Wow.
And so wow. So what is the lesson we can take from that? Obviously, we want to be optimistic. But the real lesson of the Stockdale Paradox is we need to be optimistic and positive. That's what keeps us going. But we also have to confront the reality. And the reality is we don't know when. So we stop putting a date on it and stop trying to think, okay, let's just get to this point. Actually, I've heard it from you before, Jeff. You talked about the train station mentality.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And so, let's just get to that station and everything will be okay. But guess what? The train keeps going. So the idea is confront reality, plan for the worst, get realistic with the things that's going to affect our business, but obviously continue being positive that yes, we will get out of this. We just don't know when.
Nick, I think that's incredibly valuable advice, because you got to be optimistic, you got to have hope, you got to be a realist, and you got to go, this might last longer, and so you got to plan for it. So it's kind of plan for the worst, hope for the best. So
absolutely,
that's a great theory. What are you doing personally to deal with this? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that the stress levels are beyond belief. Mental health is a major concern. So what are you doing personally to get through this tough time?
Yeah, so kids are out of the house. They're living on their own. And so we don't have young kids here. It's just, my wife, Lana, and I, and we are going stir crazy. We feel like we're in cabin fever, and we're like, we got it good compared to most people that have kids at home that are trying to homeschool and work and deal. I can't even imagine. All my sympathy goes out. So, we have to we're putting it in perspective ourselves, but a couple of things that we make sure that we're doing in order to continuing to live through this until that point of return, whenever that is. Number one, keep a daily routine. So we still get up, we still have a workout in the morning, have a good breakfast, sit down, we're dressed for work, we're not doing the, that real casual wear and the beards and all that we're seeing. We're like, what? Let's show up as if we're showing up at work, right? And so keeping that daily routine has been very, very important. We go to bed at the same time, we have the same routines all the way throughout the day. So that allows us to feel a certain continuity, right?
Yep.
Not displacement. The second that we do is connect with as many people as possible. So I keep hearing this, what are you going to do with all your free time? And I'm like, where's this free time? Like, we're twice as busy, earning half as much right now, like really busy. But what we've realized is connecting with as many people as possible just helps us all get through this. And, thanks to you for putting In It Together. It's a great example of connecting with as many people as possible, because we need, what we've realized is human interaction is not a want, it's a need. that's what I've realized through this. Like, wow, I really miss that human. It's great to have these conversations, but I'd like to sort of reach out and give you a handshake and a hug kind of thing. So connecting with as many people as possible keeps our sanity a little bit,
Yeah.
and helping as much as possible. So, you know, we have clients and, you know, our staff that have sort of, they're paid hourly. So, you know, their hours get reduced, they're in trouble, right? So, you know, they're reaching out, how can we help them through these subsidy programs? And it's tough times. We get people crying on the phone saying, I don't know what's going to happen here. And so we're just helping as much as possible. So reaching out as much as possible, helping as much as possible, because we're all in this together. And then finally, you know, very important, if we're not taking care of ourselves physically and mentally, then how can we help other people, right? So really important, keep up the physical exercise so we're feeling good about ourselves and we have the energy to mentally battle all this stress. And then things like, you know, meditation, whatever that looks like for people. Some people read a book, some people go for a run, you know, some people sit in quiet, you know, whatever that looks like, is center ourselves so that we can make sure that we're battling, you know, the stressful times.
Great advice. You know what, Nick, and I'm in the same boat as you. You know, the one thing we know is that life will go on and this will pass. We just don't know what it's going to look like. So I agree with you. I mean, we have to stick together. We have to support people, and we have to take care of ourselves first. Otherwise, we're no good. So, Nick, that's awesome. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time, and stay healthy. Say hi to Lana, and we'll definitely keep in touch here. And good luck with everything.
Thank you, my friend, and thank you for doing this for everybody. Really, it's an honor to be a part of it.
Perfect. Thanks, Nick.
All right, take care.
I know.